Hi, my name is Priscilla Danino, and I'm the Early Childhood Coordinator with Brevard Public Schools. And I just want you to know, first off, that I am so excited to be meeting up with all of you here. And congratulations to all of you who have already had your new baby. And again, early congratulations for those of you that are waiting for your new baby to arrive. And you know, you are in for a world of joy, of fun, of language and interactions, and that's what your baby wants. Remember, your baby's already listening to you. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about reading aloud to young infants, and you don't have to wait until they're 2 or 3 months old to start. You can start right away. If you haven't started yet, today's a perfect day. We're going to be focusing a little bit on the book that we gave out to you in the hospitals, and that's Brown Bear, Brown Bear, one of my favorites. And I just have to tell you, Eric Carle is an author, and he is used in author studies throughout all of our elementary schools. But more importantly than that, he is beloved by young children. And I think children fall in love with him the first time they see one of his books. And the reason for that is the pictures, the illustrations. He's not only the writer of words, but he's the illustrations. And he looks at all of his stories, or I should say looked at them, because we did lose him last year, but his books will live on. So Eric Carle is the author of the book that you may all have, or you're getting ready to have, and it's called Brown Bear, Brown Bear. And what is so important about a book like this is once a child hears it once, or twice, or 5 times, it becomes predictable literature for them. And that's something they can't get in conversations with you, because conversations with family members are on the spot. But conversations and reading aloud in literature is predictable. And what's wonderful about his books as well is the rhyming potential. Because when we talk to our children, well, we might for fun talk in rhyme, but it's not something that we will naturally do. And children need both. It's kind of like a balanced literacy program for infants. So when you take a look at Brown Bear, already you probably say it differently than when you say good morning to your child. So I think I'll just read 2 or 3 pages just to give you a feel for the book. So Brown Bear, what do you see? By Eric Carle. And say his name. Let them hear his name as well. So in the front of your book, you'll notice that we've given you some suggestions on how to read aloud to your child. And the one that I really want to make a point with you this morning is read to your baby every day. Find 5 minutes or 10 minutes every single day to read aloud to your child. It's as important to you as it is to the child, because for you it's an escape from whatever you're doing. And that interaction and commitment to that child to read every day is going to make a difference for them. So let's start the story. Brown Bear, what do you see? Red Bear, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me. Start to give them a little peek of that. Let them have a little sneak peek of the color. As they get older, or as they get used to read alouds with you, they're going to be thinking about things that are yellow. But for your infants, they don't know yet. Yellow duck, what do you see? I see a horse, blue horse, looking at me. Blue horse, what do you see? Look at the blue horse. Where's the blue horse? Yes, you can ask that even of an infant, and then you'll be the one responding with, here's the blue horse. So I'm going to stop there for a minute just to talk a little bit about brain development. Brain development is impacted in a different way from read-alouds than it is from conversation and speech. Please don't stop talking to your child, but when you do a read-aloud story like Brown Bear, or a nonfiction book like ABC Zoo, when you read to your child from this, you're giving them words and vocabulary they won't ever get in conversation. And while they may not know what those words mean, the more often you read them, and yes, I'm sorry, 5, 10, 20 times, they're going to tell you what book they want. Even an infant, after reading some of these books to them, if you bring them over to the table and you say to them, which book do you want mommy to read today, or grandmother, or grandfather, or whoever the caregiver is, I promise you, they're going to make a selection. Children have been thinking since 4 months in womb. So they're already thinkers. They had to figure out how to fit in there before they came out, before they were born. So they're already going to tell you what they like. And I like to say this about for young families. When you're reading with your baby, hold them close. Is it okay to read with them when they're in their crib or a bouncy seat? Of course it is. It's okay to read anywhere. But you want to build that relationship that they connect books with love of the family and closeness. That's what reading does, that conversation doesn't do. And if you happen to have any little characters that go with the story, put those in the child's lap. You want to really make a connection for your children, and they need 3-dimension. So the book is going to be 2-dimension, but it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be full of your voice. But if you can give them something to touch or hold on to, that's even going to enrich that learning, make another connection. Connection for the brain, touch is the only way to make a different pathway. So if they're not having the opportunity to touch, then they're not going to have that memory for that story that they would have otherwise. And I like to choose board books for my youngest children because as a mother, I'm balancing the child, who is most important, and I'm able to hold a board book. And I'm even going to become a master at how to turn those pages. But if it's a paper page, I'm going to have a little more difficulty. As well, that book can come closer to the child. You know, we all have technology at home. It's being used today for this Read Aloud. You can put the book in front of your baby, a little bit lower than their eye level if possible. I just have my little stuffed friend today for you to meet. And set up your own phone or a camera across so that you can see where your child is looking as you read. You can't see that when they're like this. And as the child's motor development grows, you're going to see them lifting up their hands and trying to reach. But watch where their eyes go. And the more you know what their eyes are doing during a read aloud, then you'll know exactly what to point out for them. If they're looking at the animal or if they're looking at the words, children look at everything, and black and white is very interesting to young children, for their brain makes a lot of connections with those two colors. And in our book, as you can see, the text, black and white, because they want it to be clear for families and for children. So the reason that we chose Brown Bear was because of the rhythm of the book, the predictability of the book, and the sequencing. All of those things the brain is looking for. Our brain is pattern seeking. And the minute that child was born into this world, they're trying to make sense of it. We're right now in Viera Library, and we're going to be, it's also known as a media center. We're going to be coming to you from a lot of different libraries across our district, and maybe even some outdoor surprises. But I'm not going to tell you about those yet. So right now you can see behind me that I'm in the library in the media center. And what better place to feel like reading to a young child? Do you know you can just get in your car or you can walk to a local library, go into the child center, pick up a book, find a cozy seat, and sit down and read with your child. You don't need to purchase all of these books to share them with your child.